Excellent. So first of all, let me make a short announcement. So I'm here with my colleague, Melissa, who's going to be co-host for this session. We gathered here to mainly talk about the BFG Superstars program and the Adrenaline program. And I would like to ask everyone to, if possible, mute yourself for the time being until we open up for the AMA session. So yeah, before we jump into the questions and everything, first things first, we will distribute the slides after this call so that everyone has all the information that they need to apply. And I will just briefly introduce again who we are, what we do, and what you can expect. And then after that, we will move on right to the questions. So yeah, hi, Alberto from Stockholm. Good to have you here. All right, so without any further ado, let me share my screen. So one should be able to see my screen now. If you have any questions, you can write the question directly in the chat. I'll pick it up later. Or wait until we start with the AMA session. So thanks for joining in again. Today, we're going to talk about the programs. We have two. One is an incubator, one is an accelerator. I'll go about the differences in a second. But briefly, who are we and what do we do? I think the best way to summarize us is we do two things. On the one hand side, we invest with our cousin firm, Blockchain Founders Capital. They do tickets up to 500K, mainly equity deals, pre-seed, seed, pre-A stage. So anything early stage we cover, and then my job or the job of the accelerator is to really take you in and make you VC ready, right? VC ready means we know what VCs would want to have, and we know what they how to be successful when you want to raise money from them. And so what we will specifically focus on is really get your company, your startup ready such that it's interesting to VC. So the stage that we look at the accelerator and incubator is much, much earlier, right? We are talking pre-idea even or shortly post MVP, right? That's sort of the stage we're looking at, and also pre-revenue, right? The accelerator itself invests 70 to 100K tickets, depending what stage you are. We have invested in over 20 startups already with our accelerators. In total, our portfolio is around 50, big. We work fully remote, so we don't care where you are. It doesn't matter. As long as you participate and perform, that's all we care about. So you can work wherever you want, 100% remote and 100% international. So here again, a glimpse of what we have invested in. You can feel free to, again, after this call, get the slides, check out some of the startups. Some of them are really, really successful. And I guess you can check them out, check out the quality, and also what they do, right? Because they do very interesting things. Maybe you can learn a thing or two, and again, get a glimpse of what sort of caliber we are looking for. We do have a very broad focus. So whatever the case, if it's Web3 related, then we would be interested. The team behind the accelerator and the incubator is quite agile. We're a small team, a few more freelancers on the side. Mainly it's here, the 6 people that you see on the screen. Everyone has a specific job, but we're all rounders, right? We can help you in a lot of areas that are necessary to have in a startup world. So be it legal support, business development, growth, hacks, community building, marketing, very big topic. That is where we could definitely help. Behind us are a lot of advisors. Nowadays, everyone calls themselves advisors, but BFG actually pays some of the advisors. So not all, but most of the advisors that you see on this screen, we actually compensate with the participation in our carry. And I think that would be an immediate incentive for them to actually help our startups, any of our startups. And I think that's really, really powerful, right? To have somebody who has really skin in the game and wants to help you. Okay, so now really about the program, right? The main message is quite easy. We launch a crypto startup with you in the next 2 to 3 months. That's the main message. You receive compensation if you go for the incubator, and you get access to our network and resources, right? That's in a nutshell what we do. And you can come in without an idea or even without a team, right? What we primarily am interested in is you as a founder. And if you perform very, very strongly, then in most of the cases, you could succeed in any idea, right? In any idea. And I think that is the strongest message. Ideas change, but the founder doesn't. Just also here, again, we offer quite attractive terms. We want our founders to be majority shareholders. So in case we invest, we take 3 to 10% on average, depending on the stage, depending on the track record. But feel free to also look up these people here, just to also get an idea of what sort of caliber, again, we're looking for. Some of our startups, again, have been very successful, gotten grants right after they graduated from our programs, won hackathons, and so on and so forth. In total, we've got over 1,000 applications per year, a lot of partnerships that all aim to help our founders. So be it discounts, benefits, credits. A lot of these partnerships enable and give our startups access to very, very generous grants, credits to just boost your growth, right? Okay, and finally, so in case you're interested, next step would be quite straightforward. You would apply, we would invite you to an interview, and then in case you're successful, it's you would get onboarding material, we would sign a participation contract, and then immediately we would go for the building phase 3 here, to really kick off your idea within 6 to 12 weeks. And in the end of the day, we invest up to 100K. So and when you graduate, when we actually invest, or even if we don't invest, you get access to our community, and that is really, really strong. You will be invited to Germany for a 1-week session, just to meet a lot of investors, founders, on site in Germany. Again, we would cover a few costs there. And yeah, so last year, July, so 1 month ago, we actually had our third meetup, and people came to Germany from all around the world, from America, Asia, Europe, of course. So and we all gathered in Germany. It was a very, very nice event. We're also in the news. You can check it out. Unfortunately, it's in German. And yeah, and finally, I guess this is a glimpse also on the topics that we cover. I think notably, we would summarize it in checkpoints. So checkpoint 1 is really to go live. So within 1 week, we will launch with whatever you have, and then we will try to test whatever you have on the market. And checkpoint 2 is really to go to market, find a strategy. How can you get exposure for your product of whatever you're building? And then checkpoint 3 is really to prepare for funding and the investment pitch. So very, very, very fast, actually. And yeah. And most importantly, only the most crucial parts or all vital parts of your startup journey will be covered. We will meet around 3 to 4 times a week, so quite intense. Every Monday for a workshop, Tuesday to Wednesday and Thursday, we would do tactical workshops, and then Friday sort of a wrap-up session where all the founders gather in one room and we talk about progress and challenges. So to wrap it up, if you are interested, for more details, please scan this QR code. We're actually extending our deadline. So the deadline was originally August 12th, but we want to just give the opportunity for the last people to gather their materials and go sort of as the last applications. But just a side note, we will wrap up this week. right? Because this week is the official deadline. So if you want to apply now, because actually in 2 days we'll make the first evaluation, and after we've done that, we'll send out the first invitations for interviews and contracts and stuff like that. And then after that, there will be only a few slots left. So it is an extension and deadline, but there will be much fewer spots left. So if you are really interested, I would strongly recommend to apply in the coming days. So happy to connect. If you have any questions, feel free to connect with me. If you don't want to, ask your questions publicly, you can always write me a message on LinkedIn or email. With that being said, I'd like to open up for any questions that you have. So you can either write the question in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and speak in the mic. And Melissa, if there's any questions coming from LinkedIn or YouTube, feel free to forward them to me as well.
Yeah, gotcha.
Perfect. So Roy, first one in the round.
Hello, Max. Good morning or good afternoon, whichever time zone we are. Just a quick questions about participating or joining with with your program. Will there be any cost or fee attached to it?
No cost, no fee, 100% free, and yeah, we even give you money.
Thank you so much for that. And also just a follow-up question, because I'm not actually the founder of our project. I'm actually a co-founder. I'm the director for business and development. So our project is currently in the beta stage right now. We already have a working product. What we actually need is a help to, boost it to the market, because what we're really struggling with is user acquisitions as well as investors. Because as we all know, investors are really difficult to find these days because of the, what happened to previous years. So will that also be eligible to apply for your, to the BFG campaign that you have?
Yeah, definitely. So I think what I can say here is to summarize the differences again, right? We have the incubator and we have the accelerator. The incubator really looks at founder stage level participants. So if you don't have an idea, don't have a team, then the incubator would be suitable. If you, Roy, in your case, if you have an idea, you have an MVP, and you struggle to scale it up to a stage where it's attractive to VCs, then you would be suitable for the adrenaline program. So anything more advanced is really suitable to the adrenaline program. And that's exactly what we do, right? Try to help you accelerate and get to the stage where you become naturally interesting to VCs, right? Because you're right, it's much harder to get VC money right now, but it's still possible. And we proved it by our portfolio companies. They still raised money, right? So it's definitely possible, but indeed it is harder.
Thank you so much. I'll go through the application program then. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you. Patrick.
Yes. So I applied previously. We were 3 co-founders. One of them we replaced. How do we modify our application, or we just explain this in the interview if we get one?
Exactly. You can just explain it at the interview.
And is it guaranteed we get an interview, or because you're a 1,000 applicant, I guess you'll make a first filter?
Yes, I mean, it's not guaranteed that you get an interview, but that will be the first stage.
Okay. And how do you feel about solo founder anyway, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, I think if you're a solo founder, and depending on what stage, again, if it's like adrenaline, it's a bit more critical, right? Then your product has to be really exceptional, and you need to be sort of an all-rounder. But let's say you're in incubation stage, it's totally okay to be a solo founder, because we would expect that you find your co-founder during the 12 weeks inside the program. And we have seen it. In fact, a lot of our previous teams, they found each other inside the cohort, which is really interesting, right? And we offer that opportunity as well. So coming in as a solo founder is not a red flag in any way. Perfect. Okay, Vinay.
Yeah, Max, thanks for giving us the opportunity. So generally here we have two scenarios, right? One, we develop our product together, but right now our company has already developed the product of staking. We are into institutional staking services. So just wanted to let you know that we are looking for a fundraise right now. Our product is ready. So what is the procedure for that thing?
Yeah. So it is definitely an interesting stage. But just as a note, without knowing the details, right? Just having the product ready is usually not enough, at least not enough for VCs. What they want to see is traction, tangible traction, meaning a few numbers like on a wait list, revenue, whatever the case, right? So depending on that variable, you would be either way suitable for the adrenaline program, where we will challenge exactly that, right? So if it turns out your product is ready, but there are no users, then that's already a problem, right? And we would try to exactly tackle that and try to find, try to identify your priorities and then work on that.
Okay, so generally, like we are in startup company, we will not provide any kind of numbers right now, but our product is very effective, and we are getting a lot of interest from the market. But yet we have not raised anything. So I can directly connect you on the LinkedIn and can share our marketing deck and presentation of our company.
Yes, you can do that, but either way, you need to apply. If you want to get our money and get into our program, you can send me the deck, but you have to apply either way.
Sure, Max. Got it. Understood. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you. Looking forward.
Yeah.
All right, let's pick a question from the chat. Can we get a recording? Yes, the recording will be made available on YouTube. Okay, so regarding the 1 minute video, what do you expect to see? I wouldn't want to repeat the same things already available in the resume or questionnaire. That's an awesome question, right? What the last thing we want to see is repetition. So if you have the same information in the questionnaire somewhere, then that's exactly what we don't want to see. So I think the best way to summarize it is you need to find a way to stand out, right? You need to find a way to make yourself just stand out from anyone else. So try to not pitch the idea, not really, because the idea is probably in the questionnaire anyway. Try to maybe tell a story about yourself, an achievement, and how you overcame it, right? Something that catches the attention of the listener. I think that's the best way I would describe it. And the point really is, when you talk to investors and partners and users, whatever the case, their attention span, you have to expect that their attention span is not very long. And if you cannot convince us, then there's no way you can convince anyone else. So we see it as sort of of course, an introduction session, but also a way to verify whether you can inspire and stand out from the masses. Okay, Nick, you're raising your hand.
Hola, thank you, Max. So I have actually two questions. One question is related, you mentioned that there is a limited number of, let's say, candidates that you will pick. So how much candidates actually will pass through the interview session and actually join the Superstar program?
Yeah, we will approximately make 100 interviews, and we will take in around 50 to 60 people.
Cool, thank you. And the last question actually is about that I'm a technology guy, so a technology advisor to multiple startups right now. And when I have joined them, I have seen that they have a good use cases to actually move to on-chain. And I have proposed my CEOs to actually consider to do it. So will be it a problem if I will be joining like a technology advisor in multiple startups to your accelerator program in different products?
That is interesting. So we wouldn't really want advisors in our calls because we designed the program specifically for founders. So if you're not a founder, most of the content probably won't be interesting to you.
But if I'm a CTO, it will be okay. Is it correct?
Definitely,
like
yes.
Co-founder. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank
you. We would, so just to make this clear, right? we would expect that co-founders inside the same team have a similar workload. Otherwise, there's an imbalance of fairness. So if your co-founder, the CEO, puts in 40 hours and you only put in 20 hours, later on down the line, this will result in conflict. Just as a note, you cannot take on too many positions, and also that is not what investors want to see.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so how many applicants usually make it to the Superstars program? Yeah, I think a rule of thumb is like we get 500 applications and around 100 make it in. 50 make it in, right? So that's 10%. So 100 interviews, 50 to be taken. Okay, so what is the source of funding for BFG? Private money, really. So we have our LPs, they put in the money, and that's what we use to fund the whole operations and also our investments. I have an experience as a leader, but I have an idea for a project. Is it still possible? Sorry, I have no experience as a leader, but I have an idea for a project. Is it still possible to join the program? I think that's a tricky one, right? I mean, what is a good leader is the question, really. So if you already know that you're not a good leader, then I mean, depending on the definition, right? I think this program would not be suitable. We are definitely looking for founder material, people who can lead a team, but I mean, leadership is one side of the coin, right? You could train yourself in a way to become a good leader if you're open to that. You can learn practices to become a good leader, or maybe you are a good leader, but you don't know it yet. So either way, I think I would still try to apply, just because why not get an opinion from us? And yeah, but a simple idea for a project, that is not enough. Alberto.
Yeah, hi. I have a question about this. In your webpage, you have this information about the 12 weeks. It's a 12-week program review. So there are 4 steps. It's the onboarding, the ideation and kickoff, and then the product development, and then the pitch day. I have a question about the phase for the product development, like how, when I read the text, as I understand, in step 2, you build a website, but in step 3, the product development, how long should the MVP be? Is it only like a strategy, or you also want?
Yeah.
For me, normally when I build an MVP, I build a product that somebody can use. So
yeah, that's a great question. Great question, right? I can already tell you're very analytical to have pointed the sequence out. So I think to answer this way, right? How do you really how do you test that there's demand for your product? Open question to everyone. How do you test that there's demand for your product? There are 2 answers to this, right? Either you have a product and you send it to your target audience and then see if they use it, or if you want to send in a product, you need to have a product, right? So you need to do product development and everything, and that is the problem. It's really timely to develop a whole program product and then send it out. So we're talking months, but you don't have months because time is tight, money is tight. And so the second answer is much more relevant. How can you test demand on the market without the product ready? And the answer here is, I think within the program, one of our biggest strengths is to really proxy the product with a vision, with an idea, with a story, and then test it on the market. So imagine you have a landing page that has one feature and people can try it out. And depending on if they try it out and give you their email, you know, okay, there might be demand for your future product. And if you have that, then you could still proceed to develop the program, product, while still testing with the proxy, right? I think that's the answer. And the point is really to move fast, right? You need to get this validation as soon as possible. That's why we can't always wait for the product to be developed already.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so there's a question from YouTube. What is the amount of commitment for the Superstars and Adrenaline program? How often will there be meetings during the program? Actually, we only have like in total, again, 3 to 4 meetings a week in total. That is like 7 to 8 hours. That's like the raw number. But essentially, you can, let me put it this way, you can still work full-time somewhere else, and you could be quite successful by just investing 20 hours a week. But you need to always keep in mind that you have competition, right? There are other founders that might have 60 hours because they don't have a full-time job. So they will have much more time and therefore create much more output in a way. And in the end of the day, as investors, we have a bunch of deals on the table. And if there's a team that only has 20 hours a week versus a team that has 60 hours, then I guess the answer is quite clear, right? Who you would invest in. I mean, okay, depends on the track record, depends on the traction, everything. But just based on the numbers, it's really, really hard to be as smart as outsmarting somebody who has just more time than you. So I think the golden rule is you need at least 30 to 40 hours. Otherwise, you're just not competitive anymore. So another question from the live stream. The 70 and 100K funding at the end of the program, what is the condition of the investments? It's fairly flexible. So we, again, we take around 3 to 10%, and the range is based on the valuation. So towards the end of the program, we will have a negotiation session where we determine the valuation, and then based on the valuation, you can then calculate how much equity is being returned to BFG for the funding. Okay, perfect. Any more questions? Okay, maybe I can just say a few words to last month's portfolio day. So just to recap, right? Everyone who is successfully admitted to the program will have the opportunity to be invited to the BFG Portfolio Day. And at the Portfolio Day, we will invite a lot of investors, over 100 investors that will be on site, just scouting really for startups. And I think the second point is you're there, you're with other founders, you can learn from founders, and you can basically try to raise funds on site. So I think that has been quite interesting 1 month ago. Oh, there's one more question. How much support can we expect during the program? For example, in creating smart contracts, website marketing, pitch deck. Is it feedback only, or is it also more? So what we can definitely offer is that so each team has their own sort of person in charge. You will always have the chance to book somebody from our team to go for an 101, talk about your concerns, talk about challenges. And then the question is how much do we really support hands-on? So we are hands-on, but partially. We would expect that you do, at least you try to do the work first, and then we would jump in sort of as the final step. But we cannot sort of create, let's say you want to hire marketing personnel. We can't write that marketing job offer for you, right? We would expect you to do it. Do we write smart contracts? No, we don't write it for you. We can find somebody who can maybe audit it, who can check the mechanics there. Do we create a website for you? No, we don't create it for you, but we can give feedback. We can give expert templates. We can provide you with best practices in that sense, so that you're just faster when you create it. There's one thing we support though, which is design material. So we have a UX designer who's at your disposal. You need a logo, you need a corporate brand. That's something we can definitely create for you. You need pitch deck material, we can create that for you. But also just the templates, right? We cannot create the slides for you. Like we can create, you can tell us, okay, we need a slide which shows XYZ, and we will be able to design that for you, but we cannot create the content around it. Okay, what is the, okay, so let's see. Are there specific skills or people that you are looking for? For example, software engineers, marketing people. I think there's not a perfect description for a successful founder. A successful founder is really, really hard to define, but there are a few characteristics that you could correlate with a successful founder. So for example, people who are very consistent, very diligent, very, somebody who's not depressed when they get a no from an investor, because you have, if you want to become a founder, you need to accept 99 no's before you accept a yes. And if you get depressed down the line, then there's, I can already tell you it's not going to be something enjoyable for you. So I think robustness, consistency, diligence, strategic mindset, these are some qualities that we definitely look out for when we choose founders. That these are honestly essential. If you don't have them, you better, it is still possible to learn them, right? To acquire these soft skills, but it's really, really hard. So if you come in with a set of desirable soft skills, there's already a very, very big plus. So I think the best example is if you're an entrepreneur in your current company, if you in the past, I guess student projects, remember back when you were a student, do you take charge? Do you rather listen? Are you, an introvert? Are you an extrovert? It's just like find situations where you had to take charge, where you had to take leadership positions, and observe if that is something that you're comfortable with, right? Okay, so what is the equity structure of the accelerator with regards to token issuance versus equity in the product development entity? What is BFG's preferred investment vehicle? I think it's safe to say that we like equity deals because we're so early stage, right? It's only in the very few cases you could justify that there is the need for a token. So when we talk about pre-seed stage, seed stage, usually we would do equity deals. In exceptional stage situations, such as let's say you want to build an infrastructure project, then of course we would still invest equity in return for equity, but probably with a token warrant. What about legal entity formation or legal advice? Is it recommended to incorporate our startups in the country where BFG is based? Definitely not. So first of all, we expect that there are a few teams that don't have a startup yet. In that case, we could just agree on founding the legal entity after we invest or during the program. It's all very, very flexible. And we don't limit the founder to anything. So if you want to found your company in Dubai, feel free to do so. If you want to do it in Germany, that would be the sort of best case scenario, because we have the contracts ready, we have the lawyers ready, and you could save a lot of costs by just founding it in Germany, but it's not a requirement. What happens to founders that are accepted to join the program but do not get an investment? Nothing really happens, right? It just as a rejection from our side, and that's it, right? So you don't have to pay back anything. You don't have to. So there's no financial obligation. So you just it's just a rejection. But of course, you will remain in the BFG family, and you always have sort of an open ear from our side. Perfect. Yeah, so again, we will distribute the slides after this call. And if you have any more questions, you can let me know via LinkedIn or DM or email. And oh, there's one more question. By when do we get to know if we are accepted in the program? You will get to know latest in 2 weeks, right? So we will do the first evaluation in 2 days. So if you still apply today or tomorrow, we will immediately evaluate the sort of application. If you do it in a week, then we will do it in 2 weeks, and then but latest you will get feedback to your application in 2 weeks, either within interview. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so it seems there's no more questions. I hope you enjoyed the session. Again, we will send you the recording, and just to wrap it up, deadline is August 19th. It's the extended deadline. And I'll be really happy to see a few faces again. And with that being said, thanks for joining today, and see you soon. Cheers. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, Max. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.